right, good morning and welcome to TCCA Session 3. I'm excited that everybody is here today, and I'm excited to introduce Mr. Tommy Spall. So, without further ado, take it away.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Welcome everybody. I see everybody on the side. I didn't see in my last session I had private chat and comments. And I was only looking at the private chat. I didn't see all the cool comments. So if you have anything to say, just drop it in the comments and we can talk about it. My name is Tommy Spall. I am a 7th year instructional technology specialist. This is my 13th year in education. I hail from the Brenham, Texas, over here in South Central area, Texas. We are known for Bluebell ice cream, so it's delicious. It's yummy. And if you don't follow me on Twitter at Tommy Spall. Let me put up my information right here so you can have it. Let's go full screen there. There we go. So you can follow me. I'm Tommy Spall at Tommy Spall. I'm on Twitter. And then I also work for Brenham ISD. So we have our bit.ly/BIC Wired down here, which is our daily blog. We've had over, get this, 1,500 different posts over the past 7 years. So we try to post all the time, mostly daily. And you can follow those blog posts that we have on there. And then if you need anything, just shoot out to me, shout me out on Twitter, talk in the chat. Somerville, Texas. Sandra, hey, nice to see you. And then here is the link to this presentation. It is bit.ly/TCCA Flippity, Flippity. And you can get to this presentation. If anybody can someone take that bit.ly and just drop it into the chat? I would appreciate that. And we'll go from there. So engage in instruction with Flippity. And I hope that you guys are ready for this. I'm going to spend, my last session was a bunch of different tech tools. I'm going to spend this whole 50 minutes talking about Flippity.net. I usually don't spend a whole presentation talking about one tool. I try to show a lot of tools. I try to go in depth, but I know that I love Flippity.net. It's one of my favorite tools. Tons of activities on here. And we're just going to work through this presentation. I'm going to try to show you all of the tools and activities that you can use within Flippity. I'm also going to show you how to do Flippity. And so we're going to go from there. So let's actually start that way. That would be a great way to do that. So I'm going to hop over to Flippity.net. I'm going to shut some of my tabs up here. So Flippity.net. So this is it, Flippity.net. Say that a million times fast. It gets a little conundrum in the mouth. So here we go. So what is Flippity.net? Flippity.net is a great website. It's created by one guy. He manages it all and keeps it all up to date. It looks fancy, and that's his purpose. On each activity, it's a demo, instructions, and a template. Let me just quickly show you what a demo is. So if I go to the demo, it brings it up as its own website. It looks like a website. This website now I can send to my students and they can fill it out. So that's how I can do it in the future. But this website link right here is just the demo, okay? So if I go back, that's what the demo looks like. Every single one of these demos or every single one of these activities, when it's in the finished mode, looks like a website. But when it's in the, I call it the non-pretty, the ugly version, the edited version, that is a Google Sheet. So everything is tied to a Google Sheet. All 20 plus of these activities, the background to it, the nuts and bolts, the edited version is a sheet. So where does that Google Sheet live? It lives in your Google Drive. So if you ever have to edit one of these in the future, and I'm going to show you how to do that, all you have to do is go back to your Google Drive and edit the Google Sheet. Sheet, Sheet, Google Sheet. So if I go on here, I can go to the demo on this name picker. I'm going to show you this one because I really like this one. So we're just going to hop right into this one first. So here is the random name picker. This is what it looks like. So I can click on the wheel. It pulls on a student, and you can bring up that student, Betty. And so it just has that. The only thing that is not really great about this wheel, and only the wheel, not anything else, but the wheel, is that you can't take the name out. So like Name Picker Ninja is a website, namepickerninja.com, I think. Name Picker Ninja is great because what Name Picker Ninja can do for you is it can spin a wheel, a wheel like that, but it also takes out the name if you want it to take out a name. So if you're doing like a raffle and you don't want a kid's name to be drawn twice, don't use this one because it could call on the kid a couple times. So like the popsicle sticks, when you took the popsicle stick and put it into the other container, you can't do that. They all have to still live in the same container, okay? If that makes sense to everybody. But there's other websites. There's also a newer one out there that does this. It's just, you would just look up in Google name picker, and it does that. Here's why this one is different than any of the other ones. Up here, I can do single name. So if I'm calling on my students in class, just like the popsicle sticks, I also have lineup, which is a lineup. And then I have groups of 2, groups of 3, groups of 4. So what's nice is if I'm using this in a truly blended learning environment, I can have my kids in these groups and I can just quickly organize them. So I don't have to lay the popsicle sticks or the cards and be like, okay, I want you with you and you with you, and taking up so much of your classroom instructional time. Now you have it ready to go up on your board or on your computer, and you can just switch them out. So let's say Jack. If I click on Jack, I'm like, oh, I know Jack and Ingrid don't get along. That's not going to be a good group. I need Jack to go somewhere else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch Jack and Jessica. So all I have to do is click on Jessica and just those 2 names switch. And there we go. There's my groups. Let's say I look at all these groups and I'm like, oh man, oh good golly, this is not going to work for me today. This is going to be one of those days that I go home and I take a nap after school because I just had too much today. Nap. And so what I can do is I can click on the randomizer and I can randomize all my students. So watch what happens when I click. Bam. All my kids just switch automatically. So I've been in a classroom and I saw a teacher spend about 15 minutes doing this. And here's what that teacher did. And I'm not calling out any names. The teacher wrote all the kids' names on a board. Then she made these little arrows and she said, okay, Jack, I want you with Emily. Sue, I want you with this one. No. And she would erase, and then she would try it again. And she spent all the time. Here's the kicker. When she needed all these kids to go get back into 2 big groups, she had to look it back up and she goes, okay, I want this kid with, and she was just like erasing, and it just took too much time. So here's a quick way that you can do this. Let's say I want Jessica, Robert, Dustin, Meryl, Denzel, Gary, Danielle, and Jane, all the top kids, to go be in one group so they can take back what they learned from their partner and go back to the big group. And then I want all the bottom kids to go back to their big group. So then we can go break out later on. It's called Jigsaw. It's called jigsawing your students. So I have it right here. It's a little puzzle piece. So watch what happens to all the kids on the top. Bam. Jessica, Robert, Dustin, Meryl, Denzel, Gary, Danielle, and Jane are now all back in a group. Watch what happens. Like I do some more direct instruction. We start talking more. I'm like, okay, now I want you to go back into those groups. I can just throw it up on my smartboard, click on the jigsaw, and those kids go back to their groups. So it's great for putting the kids in teams. It's great for any of your areas. Here's the number one thing that I love, which is another activity. If I go to more and I go down to the bottom, I have a send to tournament bracket, which is really fun. I can also take all those names I have on my thing and send to fun rewards, manipulatives, randomize wheel. I can send to other activities. So if I go to send to tournament bracket, watch what happens to all those kids' names. They're now in a beautiful tournament bracket, which is one of the activities that I'll go through on the list. Why is this awesome? Man, have you ever tried to find a bracket system, a tournament bracket at March Madness time? Oh, it's awful. They're horrible. And if you want to print any of them, most of them come with malware, which many of our teachers have gotten. They also come with a lot of problems and issues in ads all over the page. You can have interactive ones also that you can find online, but you have to usually pay to edit. You can print off your own, but then it's not interactive. So what's cool about this is I can go over here. I can click on Merrill. I can click on Ingrid. I can click on Spencer. I can just click on the names and move them through the bracket. And then I can keep going with that bracket until we get to the final name. Spencer, Robert. Robert won. Yay, Robert. There's no confetti. You can make the confetti in your class. So it's cool like that. It's really neat. You can use this for PBL topics. You could use this for a voting system in your class, like a tournament bracket. You could use this for presentations. You could use this for March Madness if you wanted to on the side, all my coaches out there. So you can use this for whatever you want. It's just a great way to do the lesson. All right. So I'm going to exit out of that. I'm going to go back here. So I showed you one activity. Well, two. The tournament bracket is the second activity. So I showed you those activities. So that was the demo. That's what the demo looked like. Let's show you the instructions on each activity. The instructions will walk you through exactly what you need to do. I am going to do this with one of these templates just so you know what to do. I also put the how-to into my presentation at the beginning on the Flippity presentation that I'll go back to in a little bit. I also put a bunch of links and blogs and ideas in that presentation. Let me go back real quick so you can make sure. Please make sure that you know that's not it. It's this one. I need to exit out all of my presentations. I'm sorry. So here it is. So bit.ly/TCCA Flippity. That's my presentation. And I have all them listed down here. And I take you through ideas and stuff like that. Okay. So definitely check that out. So I'm going to walk you through these instructions on how to actually do a Flippity activity. Yes, it looks confusing, but it's really not once you start doing them. Okay. So is everybody ready? Give me thumbs up. Okay. I'm sure you're like 30 seconds behind me, but here we go. All right. So if I go to the template, I'm going to grab a thumbs up. Thank you very much. So if I click on the template, I'm going to make a copy. What this does when you click on make a template, it automatically forces you to take this template, this activity template, and put it in your Google Drive. Okay. So where is this going to go live? The forced copy is going to go to my Google Drive. I click on make a copy. I need some background music while it goes. All right. Here is my copy of this template. Now, if you're a heavy Flippity user in the future and you're doing this all the time, guess what? You're going to want to make sure that you label, because I've had teachers doing this for years. And if I go into their Google Drive, it's scary because they have so many different things, copy of all these Flippity activities. So I'm just going to click up here. And I am actually going to make my roster for the school year. And I'm going to do this before the first day of school. So 2021 Spall class roster. You can do this for all your classes. And then, because I don't want to get confused, here is a really good management idea. Whether you're doing a Flippity or not, please do this in the future. If you're making copies of, and I'm making copies of, and you're making copies of, please always make sure this little button up here, I know this may feel like I'm like screaming at you, but we've had to do this so many times with our teachers. Please move it to the correct folder. Maybe you didn't know that folder was even there. Click on move. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a folder. I think I already have a Flippity folder, but if I don't, I'm going to call this Flippity Activities. This is where all of my sheets, my Google Sheets, are going to go live. So I do Flippity Activities. I click on the plus. Yep. It's empty. That's where I'm going to move this here. Now this, if I ever have to get back to it, that's where it lives. It lives back in my flippity.net. Cool? Cool. All right. So now I can edit out the names. They want you to, they even say this in the instructions, don't delete the blue, whatever you do, because that's going to mess up your sheet and then you can't use it anymore. So all you're going to do is edit out the people. So Tom, Frank, Emily. I'm really good with names, right? Sue, Jim, Joe, Kate. I don't know. I need some more girls. Oh, my wife, Rachel. Great name. Susie. All right. We'll stop there. So there's all my names. And then if I wanted to do a photo, I can. That's in the instructions. And that would take a whole session by itself to teach you how to do a photo, because it has to be a web link from the web. If you want to do your own photos of your kids, each photo has to be its own Google drawing. Each Google drawing has to be published to the web. I know. Don't even worry about the photo. I'm not even telling you to do that. Whatever I just said in the past 1 minute, ignore. I'm just showing you it's there. You can go through the instructions if you're tech savvy and figure that one out. But I'm just going to do names for mine. Okay. Now, here's what you have to do. At the bottom, after I edit out my content, there's two tabs. One says demo, one says get link here. Click on get link here. Now, this link will not work for me. I know it won't work for me yet because I have not made it into the pretty version. Okay. Could they be Bitmojis? A Bitmoji does not have its own web address. So for the photo, no, you could take that Bitmoji and put it into a Google Draw and then save 20 Google Draws for your students. And then those could be your photos. Someone just asked that, by the way. So that's why. But follow those instructions and you can go through there. All right. So here's where I'm at. It says in big red letter, it says, don't forget to publish your spreadsheet first. In the instructions on the instructions page, it tells you the same thing. On my page, I tell you in my little notes, the same thing. File, publish to the web. You have to publish your sheet. What does that mean? It takes it from this version, the edited version of a Google Sheet, and it makes it the pretty version of a website. You're basically turning your sheet into a website. How cool is that? And it's so easy to do. Watch how I publish if you've never published before. So I'm going to go to File, Publish to the Web. Do you want to publish as a link? Yes, I do. Publish. Are you sure you want to publish? Okay, that's it. I'm done. I just published that. So I can exit out of those settings. And now this beautiful link will allow me to go to my finished version. So if I click on this, ta-da, here is my new website version of my Flippity activity. If I go down, oh, those are the names that I entered. Tom, Jim, Susie, Kate, Sue. So I can click on here. I can spin my wheel. I can group my kids into groups of 3 or 5 or go from there. Now, here's the kicker, okay? Last thing you have to do. So I got the template. I edited my Google Sheet. I changed it all out. I clicked on that as a tab, and I published to the web. Template, edit, published. I went to the pretty version. This is the pretty website version. Now, what would you typically do with a website? I want to save this website. This is my roster for the whole year. I want to always bring this website back up every day. I want it to show up so I can easily edit my kids and add my kids, and use this activity. How do I save a website? It's a website. So I go up to the top. I'm going to bookmark this. But again, oh yeah, I'm working on the Passel, by the way. Real fun. So if I go down to, I don't even have a folder on here. So I'm going to go to choose another folder. Here it is. I don't know where that is. So I'm going to save to my Flippity folder. So now it's right here. That's weird. So I'm going to save it. Now it lives in my Flippity folder as a random name picker on flippity.net. So there it is. I can also right click. I don't know if you knew that you could do this with bookmarks. I can edit and I can call this exactly the same thing. It's my 2021 class roster. And it lives in my Flippity folder. So that's the finished version. So whenever I get to school in the morning, I can just bring that up and there's my folder. I can have all my Jeopardy quiz or my my Jeopardy quiz for this activity or for this theme or for this thing I'm doing. So that's where you can go grab that from. Okay. So going back to my thing, choose the activity, click on template. It automatically saves to your drive. Edit the template with your content, publish to the web, get the link here at the bottom, click on this link, click again, save this finished website. Now, what if I need to edit? I'm on here, I bring this up every morning, but then I get a new student to my class. Or I have a different question that I want to put in my quiz show, or I have a new topic I want to add to my bracket system. How do I edit this? I can't edit here. This is a website. This is the pretty version. I saved it as a bookmark. How do I edit? I go back to my Google Drive. So I can open up my Google Drive. I can go and find my flippity.net folder that I made because I already put it in there myself. So where's Flippity? Flippity activities. I have 2 folders now. So I can go back to my Flippity activities. Here's my roster. I can open it up and I can edit from here. I can add that kid in. So if I go over here, and I'm on the demo, and I add that new student in, let's call him Cleveland. I love the Browns. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. So let's call him Cleveland. So we can easily see it on our sheet. So now I wrote in the name Cleveland. I go to get link here. I don't have to republish. All I have to do is go back to my website, refresh my website, and guess what happens to Cleveland? Bam, right there. So if you have a kid come in middle of the year, you have to change something. All you have to do is just edit your sheet. You don't even have to republish, and there you go. You're good to go. Cleveland Browns, Dog Brown. Yeah, love it in the chat. All right, let's go back to the presentation, and let's just look at some of their different activities. Again, I have different breakdowns that I do on here. I talk about what demo means, instructions, and template. Reminder, rename and save your Google Sheet template in Google Drive folder called Flippity Template Activities. I even wrote that all for you just so you would actually remember to do that. It's really, really important, okay? This sentence right there. Also, when you go to the finished website version of the activity, bookmark it so you can access it later. So save it in 2 different locations. Again, if you want to get back to this session, if I didn't give you this here, you didn't get this, bit.ly/TCCA Flippity. Okay. All right. So where it all began, this website began with Flippity flashcards. So they have flashcards that you could easily edit and change. It's really fun. You can change out the vocabulary word and the vocabulary definition on those. And then it's like interactive vocabulary cards. You can just flip through them really fast, create your own study deck, and it's really cool to do. I also, at the bottom of my presentation one year, I combined both the awesomeness of Flipgrid and Flippity.net. And what I did is within Flipgrid, I recorded a bunch of my videos. So it would all be in a thumbnail version, and it would be a link to my Flipgrid videos. And each video I brought into my vocabulary cards. Ta-da! And you make your own Flipgrid cards, which are now video cards that say the definition. So it's just a cool way to make your Flippity activities a little bit more interactive. So that's how you can do that. Okay, so definitely check that out. That's an app special. I wrote about how you can do it all on here. Can this be used like boom cards? Yes, in a way, because they're vocabulary cards and you can make them interactive. If you follow that step down there, you can definitely do that. Yeah, great question. Flippity quiz show is my other favorite activity on Flippity. It's right here. It's a quiz show. The demo looks like this. I'll take you in. What I love about the quiz show is up here at the top, you can change out all these categories. No, you don't need 6 categories. You can switch those out. You can only have 2 categories or 3, whatever you prefer. You don't even need it to go down to the 500s. If you only want it to go to the 300s, it all depends on how you edit your sheet. So there you go. So if I click on this one, world capitals for 100, what capital city opened the first subway in 1863? So I can go and my kids can have buzzers at their desk. I've had kids make different sound effects to call out. I've had kids in a steam room one time. We actually used electrical lights and we had it up to the little light bulbs. And when they knew the answer, they would flip up and the light bulb would go out. If you really want to get science friendly in 4th grade, go do that when you're talking about batteries and circuits. So just different ways that you can do that at your desk. So I would call in a group. If they get it wrong, I would say, you're wrong. But if they get it right, you can mark them right. Let's say another team gets it wrong. So what's cool about Flippity is that it's not like Jeopardy where it's one and done. It's like you can have multiple teams try it. And if they get it wrong, you can give it to another team the points. So watch what happens when I London, England. It keeps track on the left of the positive and the negative points. So this team got it right. So they have a little yellow dot next to them. So now they get to call out the next one. So that's the quiz show. It's really sweet. It's fun to use. And then again, the Google Sheet looks awesome on there because you can edit all that content, make it for whatever thematic unit you want. Remember, when you grab that template right there, save that in your Google Drive as whatever the topic is. I've had people go back in there. I can't find the Flippity activity I did last year for whatever activity, and they can't find it because they didn't name it. So make sure you name it. Also, when you have the pretty website version, make sure you bookmark that so you can always get back to it on your Flippity bookmarks. Okay. Good. You guys are doing great. Could students make their own to review and share with peers? Oh, Sandy Hampton at 1027 on my screen. You're amazing. That's a great idea. What's neat about anything on flippity.net is, drum roll, it can all be used for students. Students can make all of these. Students can make their own flashcards. Students can make their own quiz show with their own stuff. I've had kids break up into groups. And they didn't go to one of my activities. What they did was they broke out into 4 groups and they made their own quiz shows with their content and their answers. And then they made it for the other kids. So I actually was lucky enough. I got 4 free, basically Flippity activities that we used for review as we went through. And I would go through and I would check and make sure, do you have the right answer match up to, is everything cool? And it was perfect. So yeah, that's a great question, Sandy. Thank you very much for asking that. Anthony did this with one of my PLCs with my teachers. Fantastic. So that is the quiz show. Flashcards, quiz show, name picker, randomizer. It used to be called something else back in the day. They redid it. What's cool about this is I use this for like story starters because you can edit out any of these categories and then you can also change up the tops up here. So if I did my categories up here, who, what, when, and where. So you can change these up and you can have the kids do story starters or creative writing starters in their activities. So I can click on it. Oh, where am I? Oh, there we go. Wow. So I can go down here and click on it. And it goes an accountant. Hurrying to get to a meeting. boom, 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 boom. 2 years from now, in a submarine. Holy cow. How did he get to that submarine? I don't know, but I can write a great story about that. So this is just a great way to do story starters with your teachers. If I want to randomize them all at once, over here on the right, bam, it randomizes everything. And then I can go in. A honeybee was in a skateboarding accident yesterday on the ice planet of Hoth. Very cool. So that's just another great activity for you. And guess what? Already made for you. All you have to do is grab the template, edit your own content if you want to. You can use their demo, but you would edit your own content and go from there. Very, very cool. Flippity scavenger hunt. 2 ways you can set this up. You can set this up as a scavenger hunt around the school or your campus or your classroom. Here's how I've seen it used more. I've seen scavenger hunt used more as a digital breakout room. So you know how you can go get those digital breakout rooms, which are great. I love them. I really do. They can also be expensive and a little confusing. If you want to make it just purely one screen, technology base where you can open these up, this is great for going through because you set how many locks you want. You don't need 8. You can have less than that. You set what it wants to say on here. So if I do this one, you can say what the question is and then what the answer is. So what has keys but no locks, space but no room, and you can enter but you can't exit. Everybody, keyboard, and then I do unlock. Unlocked. Beautiful. There we go. So it now has unlocked. And the kids can work through doing these. So what's cool is this is that, let's say I had 8 locks. I would make little 8, like task cards, and I would put those all around the room as a question. The kids go around the room, kind of like a breakout room, and the first team to break out and get out of the room wins the activity. And so they can go around, they can look at the scavenger hunt question. They can answer the question. They take that answer and they can put it in. Now, what if you have an answer, because this is a Google Sheet, so you can't write a full sentence. It has to be a connected word, and it shows you that in the instructions. So what if you had something like multiple choice, like an A, B, C, or D, but you can't write the full sentence? You would just tell the kids on your thing, the answer choice is A or B or C or D. That's what they would type in there. Or you could have a code word. Like A is the word snake. B is this word gorilla. I've seen that too. Or it could be a number lock. So A could be number 1, 5, 6, 7, 9. They would have to write it down, the code, run back, type it in. If that wasn't correct, they have to go back and rewrite the code down. So I've seen that used as a scavenger hunt through the hallways. It's really fun watching the kids do it. The other thing that I love about the scavenger hunt is once they unlock all 8 of your digital locks, down at the bottom, it tells them how much total time it took that group. So if you're a middle school, junior high, or high school teacher and you have multiple periods during the day and multiple groups within that period, what's cool is that you can have that time, so you can start a board and say, okay, it took this group 10 minutes and 15 seconds. It took this class or this group from here 30 minutes, whatever. And you can keep a running tally of how long it took them to get out because it tells you at the bottom at the end. Really great activity. I love this. I've seen this used for math, reading, language arts, science. I've seen it used for all activities. I've seen kids that get this because you don't have to do this whole group. You could send this to the link right here because once you're done, it's a website, folks. I'm going to copy this website, and this is what I send to my kids on Google Classroom. This is what I can send to my remote learners. It's a website, so they can go through your website activity. Now, no, it's not going to give you data, feedback, analytics. It's not that fancy. But it is going to let them go through review, test prep. It's going to let them do these activities on their own. I've even done this in class where the kids are solving. And then once they finish, I'm going up behind them at their computers 1-to-1. And I'm like, okay, you completed the test. Okay, you unlocked it. So I can see who still goes through it, but I have to keep that data myself. Okay. So there you go. Some little tips for you. Help you with your organization. All right, next, brand new one, Flippity board game. I really like it. It's a little cumbersome. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. But it is fun to have the kids play. They have a bunch on there. Is there somewhere where we can find Flippies made by other teachers? If you go on, that's a great question. I should start a house with that. Oh, that's great. Sandy, you're killing it with the questions. I don't think there is right now. I've never actually checked. I'm sure people share their Flippity activities all the time. I'm sure you could just type in Flippity activities into Google and try to find some. But I'm going to write that down. I really like making a Flippity activity repository or a curation website for curated websites of Flippity activities. You're great. Flippity activity. Unless Sandy, you want to help me with that, we can work on that together. Okay. Flippity board game is great for making different board games, going through there and making a digital board game for your students. That one I've actually had students go through recently, and they made their own board games. They turned out pretty good. The only trouble that they had is like move 5 spaces here, move 6 spaces here. There is dice, so that makes it really easy, but they were adding sometimes too much to one of the cards. So the kids would roll the dice, move 3 spaces, open up the task card, and it would say, okay, move 15 spaces. I'm like, no, guys, that's not the point of board game. You don't want to start off with too much. Miss Woods, start a Facebook group for Flippity activities. Great idea. Invite me. All right. Manipulatives. Flippity manipulatives is really fun. I equate this to like your, has anybody ever bought like those packs of magnetic letters or words that you can put on your refrigerator? I had this in my dormitory. I think there were inappropriate words. Shh. But it's kind of like that, where you can make your categories and you can drag them up to the top as different colors. Like in this example, it's kind, weird, competent. It's it's the Office people, Oscar, Toby, Creed. And you can move those around by your categories. So you can make categories and then you can make all those magnetic letters and then drag them. So it's a great activity for sort activity. So if you have to sort things with your kids, sight words, vocabulary words, colors, I don't know, whatever else you want to, you can do that. I did this with first grade with their sight words, and it was really fun to do. Book genres, if you're talking about book genres in 3rd and 4th grade, as you can see, I'm also elementary certified. I'm an elementary teacher. I'm sorry if you're middle school, junior high, high school, but any of these can still work for your grades. Our at Brittany Tech, BRITTNITECH, Brittany Tech on Twitter. She's a high school ITS in our district. She's phenomenal. And she uses flippity.com all the time with her teachers as well. So if you need ideas. But that's a fun activity for a sort activity. Matching game. I don't really need to go in depth on that one. It's a matching game. You can have the matching. Again, if you want to do images, it has to be a web address from online. Google. If you Google dog, you can't just take that picture and put it into your sheet. You have to Google dog and then go to where that has its own website. So view image as or view image on its own page. And then you take that website link and put it into your Flippity as the photo. The only other way that you can do this until Google Sheets finally figures this out is you take that picture, whatever pictures of your students' faces or pictures from class, and you take those and you have to make each picture have its own Google Draw. So picture, Google Draw, publish that Google Draw, and take that link and put it into your thing. So, I mean, it takes me to do each picture. I take the pictures, I put in, and it might take 30 seconds per picture, but as you go through it, it kind of gets a little easier. Okay. Flippity timeline. As it is, but it is great for showing time. If you teach history or you teach anything chronological order, I can also trump this to where it just truncates, so where it just shows the dates I have in here. So I can write the title and then I can write what's in here. I can also add a slide presentation. So this is really cool to make that. So you could do like your kids. I've had students make their own timelines in class, which is really cool. And then you can add text onto here as well. And then you can shoot it back down. Graduation, information. You can have links on here. You can add links to it if you wanted to go to somewhere else. And so it's just a great timeline. It shows the dates over here. And then I can go back up to the top and I can make it wider. So it shows the dates in between. I show every date in between. So you can kind of look at the full gauge of that timeline. Really love the timeline aspect. Again, as you grab this template, all of this content on each of these things, on each of the dates is all editable. You can edit all of it. There you go. All right. I'm going back. How much time? I got 10 minutes. All right. Let's get through all these. Bingo. Bingo is really cool. Here's why I like the bingo activity. You can go in there. You can edit out the content that you want on your bingo cards. And here's a cool fact. You can print, if you want to, you can print all those bingo cards, which is really neat. Also, what's cool is that you can print those bingo cards. You can also turn this into a digital activity by having your kids go there with their bingo cards digitally. So they can get their bingo card, they go in, they can move their digital dots on top of it and have digital bingo like that. So you can play it digitally or non-digitally, whatever you prefer. Really fun making your own bingo card. Badge tracker. I've seen a lot of admin and instructional specialists, tech specialists and specialists do this, and coaches, they do this. This is great if you're doing professional development sessions like I do for my district. I use it to make digital badge systems for my teachers so I can keep track of what badges they get, what badges they've unlocked. So it's a simple badge kind of like a initiative where you can earn certain points or unlock things and then hop in there and do the badge tracker. I've never seen someone do this with the students, but if anybody ever wants to do that and share that with me and show me, I would love to see how you could do that with your students in class as kind of like as like a badge tracker of what how many books they read or how many assignments they get done or how they're doing it on the multiplication tables. Anything like that you could track in class. Leaderboard, kind of the same thing as the badge tracker without badges, but it's a digital leaderboard. So I could have this, I could save this as a website. Let me show you what this looks like. I could save this as a website just like this. And this is what it looks like. So every time I go to this website, it's going to show me who the leader is in class. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how do I change the numbers? How does this information change? I'm sure you already answered that question. All you do is go back to your Google Sheet, update the numbers, update the ranks, and then you don't have to publish again. It's already published. All you have to do is refresh your page over here, refresh my page, and then I'll see all of the changes on here. So that is really cool for that reason. Definitely check that out. I love it. So that is the, which one is that? Not the badge. That's the Flippity leaderboard. Really fun to keep that static as a saved bookmark on your web. And then whenever you have to change out the numbers, go back to your Google Sheet. Typing tests. Love this typing test. Really fun to do it. The kids just practice the typing. What I've seen other teachers do. So kids have paragraphs or sentences that they have to do in class. They take those paragraphs or those reading paragraphs or the things that they're already going to see in class that they have to read, and they put it in here. If a kid has to memorize words from like Abe Lincoln's speech, they take that speech, they copy and paste it into the Flippity typing test, and then they go through, and guess what? As they're practicing their typing, they're also reading the speech at the same time. Really cool. So there's different ways that you can do the typing test. Flippity spelling words is fun too. You just type in your spelling words and the kids can take the spelling words. Last time I checked on this, and someone can prove me wrong on here. I had a friend ask me, does it still do autocorrect? Because it's still tied to Chrome. So is it going to do spell check? Last time I checked a long time ago, yes. I think it did, but if anybody can prove me wrong on that, I would love that. Someone said mastery of teaks on the leaderboard. Love it. Mastery of teaks on the badge tracker would actually be better. I think that's what you probably meant. Great idea. Mastery of your teaks. Progress monitoring, great for blended learning environments. Flippity word search. All right. So I'm going to talk about word search. I'm going to talk about crossword puzzle, and I'm going to talk about word scramble, all in the same context. Why? Because none of these activities, these three activities, can be played online. You don't play these online. What it does for you, though, is it makes you a word search. It makes you a crossword puzzle, and it makes you a word scramble using your vocabulary words that you have, which is really cool. So if you have a subset or a set of vocabulary words, content vocabulary words, works for any grades, y'all, even if you're in high school, or if you have sight words or spelling words at the lower grades, take your list, put it into any of these activities, and it will automatically make this for you. So it's really fun to practice your vocabularies and stuff, words and stuff like that. Automatically makes you. And then what's cool, each one of those activities, all three of these activities right here, are printable. So you can print these off, and then you can have your kids do those as an activity. So to practice their vocabulary words. All right. Flippity snowman. It used to be hangman. I had this up on my board. Let me go to demo because I had it as hangman. So you used to be able to change out your snowman. I guess it's just a snowman right now. So you would go on here and you would type in your letter A, check it. And A, oh, nope, he's melting. Death of a snowman. Let's do D. Oh, no, he's melted some more. So it's a melting instead of the hanging. I think they got rid of the hangman. So there you go. It's cute, friendly for your kids. There's also a way. Let me go actually into the template. I'm not going to do that because I'm pretty sure you can have other choices if you grab the template. Template. Make myself a copy. What am I going to do? I have to make sure I rename it because it's going to my drive. Snowman. Still loading. There we go. Get link here. Demo. I guess it's just the snowman. You used to be able to change those out if you didn't want to be a snowman. All right. Well, there you go. So there's, I knew it was somewhere. I knew if you guys stayed with me long enough, I would find it. All right. So if you're in the sheet and you edit it, you can do snowman, flower power, bomb squad, apple picker, and of course, the classic hangman right there. So the snowman's just a little bit more cute for those little grades, but whatever you want to do, there you go. I knew I could find it. All right. Keep on going. Here we go. What do I got? I got 2 minutes. Let me get done with this. Thank you. All right. Session password is posted. Okay. So let's go through progress indicator. Honestly, that's more for tracking each kid's individual practice. They did that for like books and amount of words that the student can read. The Flippity progress indicator is kind of like the leaderboard, but it shows each student a little bit better. You can do different things. Kind of the same thing. Just go back and check both of those and the badge tracker. Those are kind of trackers that you can use. Word cloud says it like it is. You can have kids enter words or give you a list of words. The more that you type and the more frequent that one word comes up, the bigger it's going to be. So you can make a word cloud, makes them really pretty, really cool. Same with the Flippy Fun with Words. All it is just it changes out the words. So these are great for like if you're in the lower grades and you want to make the kids' name placards at the beginning of the year, you can put those down there and have that on there. Mad Libs, great because you can fill in all the adjectives, verbs, nouns that you want, and you can make your own Mad Lib story, which is so fun. Flippity tournament bracket, I already showed you. There is a quiz certificate. So if you want someone to take a quick quiz and get a printed certificate, you have that. And you also have kind of set up like a Google form in a way, a little different. They have a Flippity self-assessment where you can ask questions and go through there as well. And that's a new one. Okay, y'all. Those are all the activities at Flippity.net. I knew I had to, hopefully had time to go through all of them. Mad Libs, yes, I love Mad Libs too. All right, going back to my presentation. I know I stayed mostly in Flippity.net. I have the presentation. And what I did on the presentation is I linked everything for you. I have information on how I use this. Please, please, please use this and check it out. I have everything linked on here for you. I have blog posts about each one, mostly. I have information about each one. I have more ways to go in depth with all those activities. And then at the bottom, I have a way that I use the note cards, the flashcards, and brought in my own videos to make interactive digital flashcards. If you would like, at the bottom here, I have a survey that I look at all the time to make sure that I am filling the needs of my students, you guys. So it's bit.ly/Tommy Spall survey. If you don't mind, thank you for dropping it in the comments. I appreciate that. I felt like a YouTube person there, TikTok. So drop it in the likes, drop it in the comments. And there you go. Good information. Thank you very much. Again, this presentation is found at bit.ly/TCCA Flippity. My time is up. I hope you guys enjoyed. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. I hope that I didn't go too fast for you.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Tommy Spall. Everybody give him a digital round of applause. Like, I learned some things in there. I know I'm going to be going and doing some homework on Flippity now. I already see some ways that I can use this in classroom and with teachers for professional development. So once again, thank you so much. For those of y'all that haven't seen it yet, the password for the session is at the bottom third of our screen. So you should see it like right about there. Yeah, it's always kind of strange doing that. But thank y'all so much, and have a great day, and keep your hand sanitizer ready.
I have 2 more sessions this afternoon, by the way. 2 more sessions if you want to join me.
So join us. I think I have you for both of those sessions, Tommy. So
you do, buddy.
All right, y'all, have a good one. And if you're on the West Coast or you missed the keynote, they are repeating right now in 8 minutes. So enjoy, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, y'all.